My third guy plays some games.
Alright, hi y'all, Weather Guy here. We're back with more of the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are nearing the end. We just had a grand entrance from Mr. Sholmes, as we now are pretty convinced that Strongheart is the mastermind behind all the evil wrongdoings, and he is trying to basically hold this trial hostage and prevent us from getting new witnesses. But Sholmes is here to save the day somehow. Let's see what he has to do. This is no place for amateur detection, Mr. Sholmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once. Mr. Sholmes was instrumental in their apprehension of Sashiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear what he has to say. Lord Mail Strongheart, it's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage. Is it really? And why would that be? You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question. We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Surely it can't be that the shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it? The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered. It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellow, should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why have you been invited to attend? To nod along to the prevarications of your superiors? Order in court. It seems to me that we stand before a door that leads to a new era of legal practices, a door that is ajar. Let us emerge from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now. The auditors in the gallery have no rights to express an opinion on court proceedings. Silence. Oh, this is sick. What? Oh, this is sick. Look at this. This is so nice. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. A toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery. Testify. Oh, this is so good. Well, my lord, you hear the voice of British justice, I take it. I think you'll find it will be rather awkward to silence. The court will recess briefly. I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff, arrange for the subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives at the courthouse, we shall reconvene. A recess won't be necessary, my lord. Pardon. Mikotoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I do believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact. What? Professor Mikotoba is here in the courthouse? Mr. Sholmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you? My dear fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, surely. I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know. Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Sholmes. However, you are of no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom at once. But of course, in truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Mr. Ryu? Yes? I trust you have Iris's little lucky charm with you. Absolutely. It's still in my pocket. She sends her regards and a reminder. If you find yourself at a dead end, the ears are at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please. Oh, of course. In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand. Oh, this is so good, dude. This is so good. Whoops. So it's Lord Strongheart. He's the Reaper of the Bailey. Where exactly is this trial going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I about to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom and confront whatever horrors it tries to drown me under. Oh, I should have just done this last time, because now we're at a to be continued, aren't we? It's alright, we're gonna keep going. It's only been 6 minutes. So presumably we have another whole part to go, which could be another hour or two of time, so... we definitely have at least 2 more videos. This one and then maybe another one after that, who knows, for epilogue stuff. Oh, we have her here as well. We have 3 witnesses on the stand. So witnesses, please state your name and occupation for the court. Eugene Mikitoba, lecturer in forensic medicine at the Imperial Yume University in Tokyo, Japan. And Professor Mikitoba, the young lady beside you is... this is Dr. Maria Gori. Scotland Yard's practicing coroner, the daughter of Dr. Scythe, I understand. Yes, Dr. Scythe. I'm afraid I can't tell you why she's here. She just appeared. She's so weird, isn't she? You summoned this strange Japanese man as a witness to that autopsy. But you don't summon Mama. That makes no sense. She was there too. That's about the size of it. I've had her eyes boring into the side of my cheek constantly, whilst I was in the antechamber too. Poor man. The idea of it's making me shudder. Yeah, she's terrifying. The revelations about Dr. Scythe that came to light some days ago defiled the reputation of the entire judiciary. She was therefore deemed unfit to appear as a witness in today's proceedings. The Ministry of Justice's decision on that is final. Well, we wouldn't want any more perjury to be committed, would we? Ministry of Justice? Some questionable strings are being pulled, I think. I remember you, Dr. Mikitoba, but I certainly never expected to be meeting you under these circumstances. Yes, it's been a long while, Lord Strongheart. Prosecution understands that you were a visiting student of forensic science in London until 10 years ago. That's right. I studied under Dr. Wilson at St. Sinus. So you were present at the autopsy of my brother, Lord Klint van Zieks? I was, yes. I assisted Dr. Wilson with the entire procedure. Mama is far more skilled than any Japanese man. Well, Dr. Wilson asked me to be his primary assistant on that occasion. This autopsy report was actually penned by you, I believe. Yes, I noted all of the doctor's findings, and when we were done, he read through the document and signed it. Poor Mama. As secondary assistant, she wouldn't have had such a good view of all the innards. So, Professor, do you remember Inspector Gregson? Yes, of course. If it wasn't for his insistence, Lord Van Zieks' autopsy would never have happened. But he was absolutely convinced that it would reveal decisive evidence against Genshin, you see. So Lord Strongheart had to entreat the nobility to allow it to take place. Do correct me if I'm wrong, my lord. It was as a result of that autopsy that a mass murderer was apprehended and justice was done. But Gregson admitted it before he was killed. He admitted that the results of the autopsy were fabricated. You were there at the time, so you must testify. You have an obligation to tell the truth about what really went on. Absolutely. That's precisely why I'm here. And that's why I'm here too. Fantastic. Very well then, you will give your formal testimony now, witness. But before you begin, a word of warning. Oh? You will state truthfully and accurately what you saw and what you heard at the time. I wouldn't dream of doing otherwise, my lord. The moment your testimony verges on supposition, I will expel you from my courtroom. Remember that. Interesting warning. Foreshadowing. Testimony time and then cross-examination, as is tradition. From my own observations, I couldn't say there was any indication of the autopsy results having been fabricated. Death resulted from a wound made by a Western-style sword transfixing the heart. That I found a little strange. There were no other signs of internal injury, nothing questionable at all. It was just that beautiful but dangerous piece of evidence removed from the man's stomach. Presumed to have been swallowed by the victim as a way of posthumously identifying his assailant. Interesting. No indication? Nothing to suggest fabrication? Professor McTober, are you certain about that? Well, nothing that I could positively identify as such, much less swear to in testimony. This is terrible. Well, that clears things up nicely. The only fabrication here, Asogi, has come from you. What? You claim the inspector confessed just before his death, but that is the fabrication. No, he freely acknowledged it. I swear he did. Freely. With the tip of a sword at his throat, the man was clearly at his wit's end. The court will give no credence to this confession that was uttered in obvious desperation. Quite simply, there was nothing questionable about the investigation of Lord Klint van Zieks' death. And with this testimony we have, without question, uncovered the whole truth of the matter. Boo, boo. If I may, my lord. There was most certainly something questionable about it, and the whole truth does rather elude us, I feel. I beg your pardon. Well, you're obviously aware of the facts of the case. All four of the professor's previous victims died when an enormous beast was set upon them that ripped out their throats. Oh, such horrifying crimes. But curiously, the killer's last victim, Lord Klint van Zieks, suffered a different fate. Yes, you're right. He was stabbed through the heart with a sword. That's enough. I believe I warned you about this, witness. Wow, that didn't take long. I promised to curtail your testimony as soon as it entered the realms of supposition or speculation. Very well, my lord. In that case, the defense will pursue a conclusion to this during the cross-examination. What? I have the right to cross-examine every witness after testimony. And I fully intend to exercise that right. Ryu. I'm afraid that even the presiding judge has no authority to contravene the letter of the law, as I'm sure every member of the judiciary present in the gallery would agree. Very good. We're gonna get there eventually. We're gonna get this guy. Very well. You may begin, counsel. However, the moment your argument strays from the established facts, I will not hesitate to bring the cross-examination to an end. Proceed with caution. Yes, my lord. Why are we still being polite to this nerd? It drives me bananas. From my own observation... Yeah, we already read this. Okay, so now we start pressing. You couldn't say? No, sadly not. But then you couldn't say there wasn't any indication either, could you? No, true, I couldn't. I was at Dr. Wilson's side as he performed the procedure, recording what he did. But at times, of course, he instructed me to fetch implements and such like. Whilst I was away from the operating table, obviously I could have missed something. At those times, what was the secondary assistant doing? Following the Japanese man's orders to adjust the lighting or pass him implements. That doesn't mean Mama wasn't a vital part of the team. Quite, yes. So would you kindly refrain from staring at my cheek like that? Professor Mikotoba, think. Was there nothing at all that seemed out of place to you? Well, yes, there was, as a matter of fact. Continuing on.
Hold it!
And all the previous 4 killings attributed to the professor. The victims were killed by an enormous dog, I believe. Their throats were, well, mauled. Correct. And yet Lord Van Zieks was stabbed. Do you mean to say you think Lord Van Zieks may not in fact have been one of the professor's victims? There is no basis on which to doubt the findings of the investigations carried out at the time. But Genshin Isogi confessed to all of his crimes upon his arrest. He admitted to having taken the lives of all 5 members of the aristocracy. Yet the beast that was used to carry out the killings was never identified. No evidence was found to suggest that Genshin had ever kept a dog. A true hound of hell. Continuing on.
Hold it!
But, you weren't actually present at the autopsy yourself, were you, Dr. Gorey? Does that matter? Well, I just wonder how useful your testimony can be in that case, really. I mean, it would be different if your mother, Dr. Scythe, were in the stand, but I've read all the paperwork about the case, and Mama's told me the story countless times. The statement I just made is exactly what's written in the autopsy report. I did confirm that myself at the time, it's true. Besides the stab wound, there were no other signs of internal trauma. I see. Mama told me all about it. Oh? She said there was nothing of note internally. But they did find an amazing piece of evidence, something unbelievable. She just looks to the sky, it's so creepy. Unbelievable, what do you mean? Come on, Dr. Worry, what was it? We're on 4 now.
Hold it!
What exactly was it, though? What does beautiful but dangerous mean? Well, it was sparkly and round with a hole, as if it might slip over a finger, perhaps. It was a ring belonging to Genshin Isogi. My father's ring was inside the victim's stomach? At the time, Genshin wore a large ring on the digitus quartus of his left hand, the 4th ring finger. I'd understood it was some sort of keepsake. Hang on. Wait a second. Where's that at? Where's the... Okay, I was wondering if the ring would count. For this, if it was listed, I don't remember if it was. When my father left Japan for London 16 years ago, I was 8 years old. But I remember that ring. You do? My father's possessions were sent to our family home in Japan after his death, but the ring wasn't among them. Obviously not. It was a key piece of evidence. It remains under lock and key in the stores at Scotland Yard to this day. After the autopsy, Genshin was summoned by the police to check for the presence of his ring. It wasn't on his hand, of course. Moreover, there were deep abrasions on his finger where it had been pulled off. Interesting. They arrested the man there and then, right before my eyes. How could they? I brought the ring along with me today. Oh, we're gonna look at it. There's gonna be something on the ring that they've somehow missed all this time. What? Here it is, a bit dusty from years in the stores. Good gracious, yes, that's it. I haven't seen that in 10 long years. And that was found inside the victim's stomach? Yes, I'm afraid so. You hesitate there, Professor Mikotoba. Should we read something into that? Well, it's just that thinking back now, I didn't actually witness the moment it was extracted from the victim's body. Oh my, really? At that precise moment, Dr. Wilson had asked me to fetch him a new scalpel, you see. Dr. Gory, the removal of historic evidence from the stores requires my consent, does it not? However it came to be here, the court cannot deny that this is crucial evidence for today's proceedings. Very well, you may submit it. Okay. It's not the sort of ring normally seen in Japan. They almost look like claws protecting that jewel. Alright, let's look at it. There's gotta be something in here, an inscription or something. It's just the jewel? It's just the jewel. No inscription. These fat claws are doing a good job of protecting the equally fat gemstone in the middle of this ring. Yes, if you're clumsy, you could give yourself a rather nasty cut on them, I should think. Ow. Now my finger's bleeding, the claws really are sharp. Oh my, that was very quick clumsiness, Mr. Ryu. Even for you. Who would make such a dangerous ring? You couldn't swallow it without doing yourself some fairly serious damage, surely. Sticky Milky Bun about that size would go down much better with some red bean paste in the middle. Someone as clumsy as me would probably manage to choke on it somehow. Interesting. This is the ring. Okay. We must examine it very carefully, Mr. Ryu. Very carefully indeed.
Hold it!
And that was a decisive piece of evidence that led to Genshin Asogi's arrest? Correct. I think this is where we press with the ring too, right, on this one. Because he wouldn't have eaten it if it would have caused that much damage, you know? After further investigations by Scotland Yard, the man admitted to his crimes. That's a lie. My father was no killer. Brock Van Zieks, it was you. You twisted the truth to suit your purposes. Your hatred of me doesn't change the facts that were established 10 years ago. My brother Klint had closed in on the professor. In the end, he exposed the man and put a stop to his lethal rampage. In the way only a man of my brother's caliber could. Alright, I know what we're doing. That's everything, is it? Poor father, he looks so troubled. Perhaps because 10 years ago, something happened that's been weighing on his mind. Oh? I couldn't say words. That phrasing was very deliberate, I'm sure. Yeah. I wonder if he's had his suspicions all these years. If that's the case, we need to use this cross-examination to prove what really happened, and remove any trace of doubt. We can establish that Kazuma's claim of fabricated evidence was true. We can't shy away from this now, even if what we might uncover could lead to total calamity. Don't worry, Mr. Ryu, I'll be right beside you, whatever may happen. Fantastic. I think that's what we do. We go to the last thing and then we present the ring. Because you can't swallow this thing.
Objection!
Oh, we're wrong. We're wrong. We were somehow wrong. Well, let me look at it again. Did we miss something when examining it? I don't think we did. No. Nothing else to look at. Huh. Okay. Let's skim back over the rest of these real quick. Wouldn't this have been a sign of internal injury though? Like, yeah, this would have hurt him. Going down, there's no sign of internal injury.
Objection!
There it is. The court has heard that the ring was extracted from the victim's stomach. But you didn't actually see it being removed, did you, Professor Mikitova? That's right. As I said in my testimony before, that moment I was fetching a replacement scalpel that Dr. Wilson had requested. In other words, you can neither confirm nor deny whether this ring in fact really came from the victim's stomach or not. What are you suggesting, counsel? That the ring was never in the victim's stomach to begin with. It's entirely feasible that Dr. Wilson fabricated that detail about the autopsy. What are you saying? That Dr. Wilson was in possession of the ring in advance, after it was somehow stolen from Mr. Asogi. And he produced it during the procedure, pretending to have found it there and then in the victim's stomach.
Objection!
Supposition at best. What possible evidence do you have to support such a rash claim? This evidence right here. That's the autopsy report. It's explicit in that report, counsel. Other than the ring, nothing unusual was noted internally, so I'm not sure how you intend to prove your point. You've already done it for me, my lord. The lack of internal injury says it all. What? To swallow a ring of this size would require considerable effort and determination. In addition to its size, there are the sharp claws around the gemstone to contend with. My brother was a determined man and on the brink of death, even more so, I'm sure. He would have stopped at nothing to ensure that evil killer was brought to justice. But if he really had swallowed that enormous ring, it's inconceivable that no traces of its passage down his throat would have remained as internal. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's it. And there you've arrived at the sticking point. That's precisely why I had my doubts about the findings myself 10 years ago. Then why didn't you say something at the time? I did. I still remember the conversation I had with Dr. Wilson in the laboratory that day. Here we go. Look at this. Now this is a very curious thing to find in a man's stomach, wouldn't you say? But isn't that rather peculiar, Dr. Wilson? What's that now, Mikitova? Well, if you swallowed a ring of that size, with those sharp metal claws that it has, surely you'd expect to see damage to the throat and esophagus. Torn mucous membranes at the very least. Dr. Mikitova, may I remind you that I have vastly more experience than you. I'm terribly sorry. I can think of plenty of ways to explain why no injuries would be seen. No, let's say this. The victim would appear to have ingested the item as evidence to identify his assailant. Go ahead, write it down. Oh, gross, yuck, bleh. So I was right. Dr. Wilson deliberately fabricated the results of the autopsy to implicate my father. I'm disappointed, counsel. That argument is nothing more than speculation. What? Dr. Wilson was Britain's leading authority on forensic science and autopsy work. There is no scientific basis on which to doubt the man's expert opinion. Pardon the interruption, my lord, but damage to the mucous membranes of the throat is easily identified even in living subjects. Using a device called an endoscope, recently demonstrated in practical use in France. I want one. The government can pay. I don't think so, and Dr. Gorey, rest assured that your removal of evidence from the stores without permission will not go unpunished. We open up the dead to find the truth. I beg your pardon. But, Mama, she chose to stitch her corpses up with all her secrets inside. What a crazy thing to say. That's wrong. Dr. Corey, it's looking as though she's chosen to walk a different path to her mama. Very good. I think we're about done with this cross-examination. Yes, the ring. What about the ring? I've just remembered something. An earlier incident. What incident? The one I recounted to you before, about a memory I have. Of Genshin Isogi saving my life. What? My father saved your life? Yeah. That's right, there's the ring. You can see it in the image there. Oh, yeah. I forgot that's how that exactly went down. Where he completely protected him. It was on the ring finger of his left hand that he used to wear that ring. Ah, are you saying... I've always believed those thugs were after me. But now I'm starting to question if perhaps I wasn't the intended target after all. Wait, but... Genshin was arrested 2 days after that attack, and in that short interval, the decisive evidence needed to indict him was miraculously found. You mean, the ring was stolen from him? You think that's what those thugs were after that night? Oh, that's so sick.
Objection!
There we go. Oh god, he is mad. You expect me to believe that you weren't involved? What do you mean by that? It was you, wasn't it? You're the one who took it. You stole my father's ring. You set the whole thing up so you could paint him as a mass murderer and have him... Yeah, we got this. We got this. Kazuma, open your eyes. Ryu? You must know deep down. The truth can be completely obscured even when your judgment is only slightly clouded. But at the moment, you seem to be floundering through a dense fog. Is that why you were so insistent I should be present in this trial? To see you like this? Oh, this is good stuff. Oh, not the evil laughter. Well, this is an amusing spectacle. What a grandiose expression on your face, as if you were Lady Justice herself. It seems you've thoroughly convinced yourself of this alleged fabrication of the autopsy results. So much so that you're apparently blind to the blatant contradiction that would be born out of it. What? Though it's extremely hard to believe, let us imagine that there was some misconduct during the autopsy. If that were the case, why would Isogi not have disputed the findings in his trial? Oh. In the closed court hearing 10 years ago, the defendant never once denied the claims against him. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zieks? Yes, that is indeed correct. Upon hearing the verdict of guilty, he merely closed his eyes, quietly accepting the judgment. The actions of a man who has accepted responsibility for his deeds and is resigned to his fate. But then... Oh my, that is very strange. Mr. Stokie did nothing to oppose the charges against him, then... That would surely mean there was no fabricated evidence. An obvious conclusion at which you should have arrived many minutes ago, Prosecutor Isogi. Your twisted loyalty and clouded judgments are hampering your ability for logical thought. Genshin Isogi's silence at his hearing can mean only one thing. There was no fabrication of evidence during the autopsy of his final victim 10 years ago. Brutal. But if that autopsy was all above board, there'll be nothing to stop Lord Strongheart bringing this trial to an immediate conclusion.
Objection!
Thank you, Ryu. If it wasn't for your frank words just now, this trial may very well have ended prematurely. Kazuma? What's this latest absurdity, Counsel? My lord? Your reasoning is perfectly sound, but for one giant hole, I love every time this happens where one person is like, you have made an amazing point. But, I beg your pardon. You claim my father's silence was due to the fact that there was no fabricated evidence. There's another possible explanation. You've overlooked the possibility that he had a reason for maintaining that silence.
Objection!
Silence that would lead to him being convicted and sent to his death? If the autopsy results were an invention, there's no conceivable reason why the man wouldn't have protested.
Objection!
Oh, those results were an invention, alright. There's no question of that. Or are you forgetting that 2 people with a connection to that autopsy have been assassinated? If I force the grievances I feel from my mind, I start to see you in a very different light. I think perhaps it's you who's been living in delusion these 10 years. Me. Kazuma has created one last chance for us here, Mr. Ryu. We can only show there was a reason for his father's silence in his trial. Reason why the man would have said nothing even though he was innocent. Could have been part of some negotiation, perhaps? Enough rhetoric. The court must be shown evidence. Is this where we can do the Sogi papers? I think so. To make sure that this happened and you got to give all that away. Fuck. That's disappointing, to put it mildly. I know. I feel like that was a good answer when I did. We'll look again. Alright, let's see. So, not Clemens. So, not the Asogi papers. Not gonna be this advertisement. It presumably had to be something from long ago. None of these. Nope. Had to be something from 10 years ago, right? The only weapon he has left. I don't think it's gonna be the ring again. Would the sword make sense? Like being able to pass down the sword? I don't think so. Shouldn't be Kazuma's armband. I'm just thinking because... What does this say? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just heavy. It's a literal burden, not a metaphorical one. Well, what else could it be? No. At least I don't think so. Gosh, that's very little after. There's very little evidence directly for Genshin Asogi after the Asogi papers, you know? Whose death was this? Klint's? Recent scarlet ink stains visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand, but no document and corresponding ink was found. Doggedly. Recent scarlet ink stains. That's odd.
Take that!
Let me try that. Just because it's one of the only things we have for the time, but it seems like it's wrong. Huh. We're in trouble. Like, actually, we're in pretty big trouble here. I don't know what we're gonna do. Just gotta hope for the best. You know? Pray that we don't just get ourselves wrecked. That's all we can really do. I don't know what clemency means. I wish I did. Oh, I do have one idea, actually. Do we have evidence? Because he was broken out, is there evidence that points directly to that? One of the vigil things? Further back then. This is Mr. Vigil. Let's try this.
Take that!
Oh, this is it. It's new stuff. It's true that Genshin Asogi's silence during his trial resulted in his conviction, because he didn't actually get killed there. That didn't actually lead to his execution. On the contrary, it led to his escape. An escape that was only possible because he'd been sentenced to death. Although I find it hard to believe my father would have negotiated in that way, the defense is correct. A fake execution, falsification of a death certificate, and a jailbreak inside a coffin. Clearly such an elaborate plan couldn't have been carried out by my father alone. He must have had the help of a collaborator from the judiciary. I have here the dismissal notes of the chief warder who was working in the prison at the time. The notes read there are indications that the jailbreak was in planning prior to the inmate's incarceration. In other words, there are suggestions of some sort of negotiation between Mr. Asogi and the British government. In exchange for his silence in court, he was given an assurance that he would be broken out of prison. Yes, with that sort of clandestine agreement in place, I can imagine he would have kept very quiet. I would go further than that, in fact. I would say that the elaborate jailbreak of Mr. So can be explained in no other way. Fantastic. Order. First fabricated evidence and now a jailbreak conspiracy? Of course, because it's all intimately linked. The prosecution wishes to summon new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses. People who can testify about the jailbreak that took place 10 years ago. So it's going to be probably the Chief Warder and Mr. Vigil. Yeah, Governor Caden, yeah. Governor Caden! And the poor Chief Warder of the prison. That's what I meant to say, yeah. I won't allow this trial to turn into a farce. To summon the governor of the prison after all these years? Oh, it wouldn't be any trouble, my lord. What? Is he here too? Father? My dear friend may appear a little rattle-pated at times, but I can assure you he's extremely thorough. He wired both Barclay and the local prison earlier, asking Governor Caden and Mr. Vigil to attend the Old Bailey as a matter of extreme urgency. Mr. Sholmes did that? Are you telling me that both men are, unless I'm much mistaken, waiting just outside the courtroom at this very moment? Amazing. Sholmes was on it. He knew everything. Sholmes should be a lawyer. My lord, you must permit this trial to proceed as you declared at its outset. You promised that we would stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Very well. Bring in the witnesses. Sucks for him. Alright, that's where we're going to stop. Next time we're going to deal with Governor Caden and Mr. Vigil. Once again, we'll have Mr. Vigil on the stand. Very exciting. And we're still getting to our conclusion where we're going to hopefully destroy Strongheart. Send them to British jail, whatever that's like. I don't know. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for watching. Take care of yourselves. Take care of others. I'll see you next time. Peace out.